What if I told you that some of the most powerful people on this planet were hiding behind one name, a name connected to money, power, private islands, and secrets so dark that even today the full truth is still locked away? These are not conspiracy theories. These are real documents known as the Epstein Files. And the question is simple. What's really inside them? And why are they shaking the world right now? This is Hidden Chapter, and this is the story they never wanted fully exposed. What are the Epstein Files? After Epstein's death, one major demand echoed everywhere. Release the files. What if I told you that one name connects power, money, private islands, and some of the darkest secrets in modern history? That name is Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein was a wealthy financier with connections that raised serious questions. He had access to presidents, billionaires, and global elites, despite having no clear business that explained his influence. Behind the luxury lifestyle, Epstein was accused of running a sex trafficking operation involving minors. In 2008, he received a controversial plea deal. Years later, in 2019, he was arrested again, but before facing trial, he died in jail. Officials ruled it a suicide, yet public doubt has never faded. After his death, thousands of documents surfaced, known as the Epstein Files. These include court records, testimonies, and flight logs that reveal Epstein's powerful network. Being named does not mean guilt, but the connections are undeniable. Many details remain redacted. Many questions remain unanswered. Why were some investigations stopped? Who was protected? And why is the full truth still hidden? The Epstein Files matter because they represent more than documents. They represent power, silence, and unfinished justice. Some chapters of history are still hidden. This is one of them. Why are these files trending again? In recent months, the Epstein Files have returned to the global spotlight. New document releases and renewed media investigations reopened a case many believed was buried forever. Social media reacted instantly. Hashtags began trending. Old interviews and forgotten clips resurfaced. And millions of people started asking questions again. But this time, the questions were different. People weren't just asking what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. They were asking, who was protected behind closed doors? Who was never properly investigated? And why does transparency still feel incomplete? When information is withheld for too long, silence creates doubt. And doubt slowly turns into suspicion. The renewed attention isn't driven by curiosity alone. It's driven by a demand for answers. Because when powerful names appear in sealed documents, the public doesn't forget. And as long as parts of this story remain hidden, the questions will only grow louder. Power, silence, and connections. This story was never just about Jeffrey Epstein as an individual. It is about power. When someone holds extreme wealth, influence, and elite connections, accountability becomes blurred. Rules that apply to ordinary people suddenly seem flexible. Questions get delayed. Investigations slow down. Survivors have consistently stated that Epstein did not operate alone. They describe a network of enablers, people who facilitated, protected, or chose to look away. This wasn't a single failure. It was a systemic one. That is why the Epstein Files matter. They are not just legal documents or archived paperwork. They represent voices that were dismissed for years, investigations that lost momentum, and truths that remain incomplete. For many, these files symbolize a deeper concern, whether justice can truly exist when power stands in its way. Until those questions are answered, this chapter of history remains unfinished and impossible to ignore. What we know and what we don't. Here's the reality. Epstein was a convicted sex offender. He had verified connections to powerful individuals. Multiple victims have come forward. But not all names in the files imply crimes. Not all documents are fully public. And not all questions have answers. The danger is not asking questions. The danger is never asking them at all. Call to action: the Epstein Files are not just about the past. They are about transparency, justice, and whether truth can survive power. Maybe one day, the full picture will be released. Until then, the files remain a reminder that some chapters of history are still hidden. If you believe truth matters, if you believe questions should never be silenced, subscribe to Hidden Chapter, because some stories refuse to stay buried.